Well, today I think I just want to have some fun, and I'm in the mood for some raw and primitive rock and roll like this. So there we are, a slightly ragged performance there, but I hope that's in keeping with the spirit of the great Link Wray. And I actually found myself wanting to put on a pair of dark glasses and strut round my studio as I was playing that, but I thought I wouldn't subject you guys to that, but I'm certainly going to be doing that later on once the cameras are switched off. Now, I did a lesson on Rumble, which is Link Wray's best known track, a while ago now, and you will have heard that on soundtracks and in adverts, and in fact it seems to be all over the place at the moment. But there's a lot more to Link Wray than just Rumble, and in fact he's got a whole catalogue of great music out there to discover, and a current favourite of mine actually is his 1971 self-titled record, which is a really good record. It's almost a country record, in fact. But today I'm looking at Rawhide, which is another early track, and this came out in 1959, and I think I'm right in saying that it was the follow-up single to Rumble, and it's another equally great track. It's nice and easy to play, it's got a great main riff to it, and it's got lots of nice double and triple stop soloing ideas in there as well, so let's check it out. Okay, so as I said, this one's pretty easy to play, and I'm not going to labour this too much. Obviously, if you're a beginner or even an early intermediate player, there might be one or two things that are a bit challenging here, but nothing I don't think that most people couldn't handle with a bit of practice. Let's kick off with the opening riff. Nice, basic, primitive rock and roll riff. We've just got the open A string, playing that 3 times. Then we're playing the 4th fret on the A string. It's a C sharp note, and we're bending that up to a D, so it's a semitone bend, bending that string, then playing that same note unbent, and then we're strumming an open A chord, and it's just a normal open A chord. It's the open A string and then 2nd fret on the D, G, B. I'm just playing that with one finger flattened down across all of those strings. You can play that how you like. All downstrokes with this riff. I think most of this track I'm playing with downstrokes. It just seems to be the best way to get that nice aggressive sound. The rhythm of this riff is important. We're coming in on an upbeat. We're coming in on the and of 1. So the count goes like this. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3, 4. And then it's really as simple as just taking that riff round the chord progression. So we're in the key of A for this, and it's basically a 12-bar blues in A. So if this is the riff for the 1 chord, the 4 chord in the key of A, B, C, D is going to be D. So we're just going to play the same riff, but over on the D string. And then the chord I'm playing here is actually a D7 rather than a D. You can hear that it's got that C note in there. So I've got the open D, then A, C, and F sharp. So that's the riff for the 4 chord. We're going back to the 1 chord. And then the 5 chord in the key of A, we've got A, B, C, D, E. So we're going to play the same riff on the low E string. And we're just strumming a normal open E chord. And then we're back to the 1 chord. And rather than strumming the chord at the end of the 12 bars, we're just repeating that single note riff. I think repeating that 3 times. Then we're going round for another time. So that's what I'm going to call the main theme of this piece, and it repeats several times during the course of the track. Let me put all of that together for you in time. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Up to the 4 chord. Back to the 1. Down to the 5. And back to the 1. Then we're going round for another 12 bars of the main theme. Then we're into the first of the solo sections. And the way that this track is constructed is we're playing the main theme twice at the top of the tune, and then we're going between 12 bars of solo and back to the main theme again, just alternating between that. And I think we've got 3 solos in total. But let's take a look at the first solo, which I think is a fantastic solo, and it's all made up of double and triple stops. And the opening lick is this. So we've got these 2 notes here. It's an E and an A, which is the 9th fret on the G, 10th fret on the B string. And my first thought was it's probably played here. But if you listen closely, you can actually hear an open E string as well. So we've in fact got 3 notes. We've got E, A, and then this droning top E string, which just serves to thicken up the sound a little bit more. And we're just going between that, and we're sliding into that occasionally from 1 fret below. So we've got this kind of rhythm. And that all fits the 1 chord in the 12 bar structure. Then we're going up to this. Another triple stop shape. And this fits the 4 chord, and we've got an F sharp here, which is fret 11 on the G, and fret 13 on the B, which is a C note. And we've still got that open top string droning away as well. And what those notes are, it's actually giving you the 3rd and the flat 7 of a D7 chord, and we're just playing that in exactly the same rhythm. Then we're sliding back down to the 9th and 10th frets as we return to the 1 chord. Now for the 5 chord, we're going up to this shape here. This is an E triad up in the 12th position. We've got fret 13 on the G and then fret 12 on the top 2 strings. And it's a little bit hard to hear exactly what he's doing rhythmically here, and I wouldn't get too fussy with it, but what I'm hearing on the recording is something like this. So we're just strumming down and up on that E triad. You can add in the 14th fret note on the B string occasionally if you want to as well. And then we're just dropping that shape 2 frets lower for the 4 chord. And I'm just hearing this. There's a little bend at the 12th fret on the B, whilst I'm holding down the 10th fret on the high E string. 10th fret on the top 2 strings, sliding off, and this solo finishes off with something like this. So it's an open A chord, and then we've got a D chord that I'm fretting like this. It's like a D triad in the first inversion. So we've got F sharp, A and D, and back to A. Back into the main theme again. So let me put all of that solo together for you in time. We've got 2, 3, 4, 1. So we play the main theme again, then we're into the second solo, which kicks off with this lick. And that's actually very similar to the opening lick of the first solo, except we're playing it off of this A triad shape. We're at the 5th fret now, and we've got a C sharp, an E and an A. And we're just sliding into that shape from 1 fret below occasionally. So then we've got this. Classic rock and roll phrase, this, just played with double stops. We've got 7 and 8 on the top 2 strings, and then 5 and 5. And just giving those 2 notes there, the F sharp and the C, just a little bit of a bend. And then we're back to this. And then to the 5 chord, and this is pretty much as we played it before, so. And then down to the D. Again, just occasionally adding in that extra note there. This is the 6th of the chord. So if you're playing the E triad, you're adding in the C sharp. When you're playing the D triad, you're adding in the B. And then back down to the A, D. So I'll play all of that solo for you in time. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Then we're going to play the main theme one last time, and we've got one final solo, and that solo kicks off with this lick. So this is one of these kind of unison bending licks. So we're holding down an A note at the 5th fret on the top string, and we're bending this G note here, which is the 8th fret on the B, bending that up to an A. So you've got that nice kind of unison bending thing where you've got those two notes kind of rubbing up against each other in that kind of nice way. And I don't think you need to be too fussy about the rhythm on this, but the main pattern coming through I think is this one. He's varying that a little bit throughout the solo, but we've got 8 bars worth of that kind of thing. And for this last solo, for the 5 chord, instead of playing this E triad up at the 12th fret, I think he's probably playing an E chord. It's a little bit hard to hear at this point on the recording exactly what chord shape he's holding down, and it looks from live footage like he's playing it here, so that's what I'm going to go for. And this is the same shape we used for the D, just moved 2 frets higher. So we got G sharp, B and E. Moving that down to a D. And you could just add in your little finger on both of these shapes on the G string occasionally. And then we're ending the solo the same as the others with this A, D, and then right at the very end of the song just got those last few notes of the main riff. So all of solo 3 for you together in time goes like this. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So do you want to know about the gear I'm using today? Of course you do. It's a YouTube guitar video. So I've no idea what Link Wray's using on the original recording here. And to be honest, I'm not really trying to mimic his tone on that original recording today. I've kind of gone with my own sound. And if anything, the sound I'm going for is a kind of more fuzzed out and over the top sound, a little bit like you hear him using in some of the live videos of him playing this track. So I thought I'd break out the Vox Virage today, which I've not played in quite some time. And I think the reason for that is it wasn't playing particularly well. The setup was bad. I was having some problems with the electronics, but recently got all of that sorted out, and now it's playing beautifully again. And I'm kind of back in love with it, so I thought I'd give it a spin today. And one of the unique things about this guitar are the pickups. This is an original Vox Virage. I think these are DiMarzio pickups on the original version of this guitar, and each pickup is controlled by this 3-way switch, so you can in theory get humbucker and P90 and single coils all from one pickup, so it makes it quite a nice versatile guitar. Today I'm just going for the bridge pickup in humbucker mode. The amp I'm using today is my AC30, and it's a reissue AC30 from sometime in the 1990s, and it's got this unusual red finish. I've not really seen very many of those, but it's an AC30 top boost, and it's got the blue Celestion speakers in it. And I'm also running 3 pedals today, most important of which is the fuzz face. And this fuzz face is one of the Jimi Hendrix model fuzz faces, a really nice sounding fuzz pedal. From there I'm going into a delay pedal, which is the Catlin Bred Belle Epoque Deluxe, and I've just got that set for a little bit of a rockabilly style slap back delay. And then from there I'm going into an overdrive pedal, which is my J Rocket Designs Archer Overdrive. Well, that's it for today. You don't need to overthink this one, just have some fun playing it. If you like my tab, you can find that up on my Patreon page along with the backing track. Take care, and I shall see you next week.